Greetings Internet, and welcome back for another random video from yours truly. So, recently, within the last week, I was finally able to get a piece for my Ventriloquist puppet collection that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a long time. But every time I could find them, it was either I didn't have the money for it, or they wanted too much for it, so I kept having to pass these things over. Well, finally, as of this last week, after having a near miss with getting one of these, someone had this puppet listed on Facebook Marketplace as a Charlie McCarthy puppet with a head stick, but someone corrected them, and they unfortunately took down the listing, and well, I say unfortunately because they only wanted $15 for that particular puppet. Whereas this puppet, initially, when the person listed this guy, excuse me, I just had breakfast a little bit ago. When they initially listed this guy, they wanted $50 for him, but then they dropped the price from $50 down to $30, and I was like, when's the next time we're going to see this thing for $30? So I snapped him up. And well, as you could probably tell from the title down below over here, I now have in my possession a 1967 Juro Novelty Company Danny O'Day with the head stick, kind of like my Jerry Mahoney puppets. And without further delay, let's bring the little fella up in frame. So here he is. Now, as you can probably tell, there's just a little bit of an issue with him, given the fact that, well, his mouth does not want to stay shut, and his jaw does not want to stay up inside his head, as you just witnessed. And that, my dear viewers, is because the original rubber bands that were in there that held it in place have unfortunately given away. So what I'm going to do for y'all here today, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to show you how to repair a 1967 Juro head stick Danny O'Day puppet. And my sincerest apologies to anyone who was just creeped out by, his jaw just falling completely out of his head. Anyways, stay tuned. I'm going to cut back in and we're going to begin the procedure. It's a fairly simple fix, but it's also a little bit hard. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a moment. Won't they, Danny? Try not to talk, Danny. Your jaw's broken. So, here we go. Okay, so for this procedure, you're not going to need the body for this, so you can put Danny's body aside somewhere safe for, the time being. What you're going to need, obviously, is you're going to need the puppet with the broken bands. And you're also going to need a replacement for the bands. So I went ahead and checked, because for whatever reason, I don't know if this is standard with all these Danny O'Day puppets, but Juro, or the person working in the factory that day, used two of these 1.5-inch bands and just kind of like knotted them together in the middle. So what you'll need is either a 2.5-inch to 3-inch band, and I say 2.5 to 3 inches because even though these are both, from what I measured, 1.5 inches, they could have been slightly smaller than that, and just over the last almost 50 years, or a little over 50 years, 77, 87, 97, 2007, 2000, over the last 50 plus years, they got stretched, so they're a little longer than they would have been originally. So it's okay if you go a little less, because if you went with the full 3 inches that those two equal out to, at least on my puppet, then the jaw might be a little slack, and you wouldn't have enough tension to keep the jaw shut. So you'll need a 2.5 to 3 inch rubber band, or a spring of equal tensity, I guess. I'm not sure what the actual word is, but a spring that's strong enough to actually hold the mouth shut, but not like, keep it clamped shut to where you gotta like yank really hard on that string. Unfortunately, I don't have a 3-inch rubber band on me at this point in time, but I do have this hair tie that's about that proper length, that proper size. So you'll need something to replace the original band, and you'll need something to help pull that band over that metal pole inside his mouth here. First thing you'll want to do, obviously, after you've got the head out of the body, is you'll want to remove the original rubber band. So here, I'm going to change camera positions and I'm just going to work on this table down here and I'll show you what the procedure involves. So obviously you'll want to remove the rubber band, and in this particular case it's just easier for me to do this on a table because the original ring that you used to pull the string to make his mouth move is still attached, thankfully. Anyways, so you'll take the original rubber band off. If you wanted to, be kind of brutal about it, you could just yank on it until it finally snaps. But I'm going to be a little gentle about it and just kind of, you'll see that it's hooked onto this metal hook right here. It's got an open end, so I'll just, slide it off like that. Trying to keep everything in the light so you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, so once the original band is off, then, the mouth is fair game. I already took the time to clean off the head with a Lysol wipe, a Clorox wipe, to just make sure everything's nice and clean. You'll probably want to do the same thing, because I'm sure when you get your Danio Day like this, considering it's over 50 years old, there's going to be dust and stuff on him, so just be sure you clean him up, make sure he's nice and sanitary if you're going to, play around with him. Anyway, once you get that rubber band off, the next thing you'll want to do is you'll have to remove the head stick. Because if you see this little metal hook right here, or this little metal loop, that is the external portion of the hook that the rubber bands were attached to originally. So you'll want to break the glue, because these wooden posts were originally glued into the neck. Thankfully, over the years, the plastic and the wood have shrunken and stuff, due to weather and different things. So the glue is already broken on mine. But once the glue is broken, you'll want to firmly but carefully wiggle it back and forth. And so you'll want to work the head stick out of the head. Just keep wiggling at it, keep working on it until, thankfully, mercifully, it will pop free like so. It's almost there. I can feel it getting loose. There we go. See, it'll pop loose like that, and as you can see, the hook that the rubber band attaches to is literally just glued onto the head stick like this. It's not, it wasn't hammered into the head stick. It's literally just a big glob of glue holding everything in place. Anyway, and then you would want to remove the other little chunk of the broken rubber band that would still be attached to this, if it is. It doesn't appear to be on mine, so that's a good thing. So once you get to this stage, this is where things get easy, I'll say with big air quotes. So you'll want to take the new band that you're going to use, the replacement, and unfortunately with this particular head stick, hopefully you'll be able to see it, the loop over here where it's supposed to attach is pretty closed off because the way they pinched it off to make sure the band wasn't going to come off. So what you'll want to do is you'll take the new band and kind of just make the end as small as you can get it so that it will fit through that loop right up here at the top. And so you'll want to gently, because you don't want to break that glue, because I believe it would be a pain to try and glue this hook back on, gently work that band through like so until you get a little bit of a loop. Let's see, hopefully y'all can see that right up here. You'll want to get just big enough of a loop that you can take the other end of the band and work it back through. It's kind of a fiddly thing to do on camera. Okay, bail. Get the band through like that, and then you'll want to try and pull it nice and tight while also again doing your best not to break the glue. You'll just get that like there so it's nice and firm and secure on the puppet, or on the pole. Move him so you can see better. Now this is the I call it easy, but it's probably not as easy as I think it is. Okay, so you'll want to take the head stick and put it back through the hole in the bottom of the head that it came from. So you'll start by putting the band through first. Make sure it's actually on camera. Like this. Once that's in, then you just put the head stick in, and the reverse of what you did to take it out. You just gently but firmly press it in, and you want to make sure that the hook is lined up in the back like this. So gently but firmly, you just wiggle it back into place where it's supposed to be. Like that. Sometimes it'll be easy like that, sometimes it'll be a little more firm, a little harder to push. But once you've got it in like that, if you look from the front, if you hold him upside down, you'll see the band hanging down inside his head. There you go, you can see it right back in there. So the next thing you'll want to do is get something to hook onto that band, and you'll pull it up over this bar. Like, you'll want it to come from behind there and go up and over and out from that bar. Now what I'm going to be using is just a twist tie from something I bought recently. I forget what it was, but you'll just kind of make a hook, at least that's what I'm doing, so you can actually hook onto the band, and you'll take that and go over the bar down into the puppet head and hook onto the band like so. Let me try and get it. There you go. See right down there? So when you get the band hooked, you'll just simply pull up and work it back out of the head like so until it comes out like this. And then this is the easiest part of the whole restoration. You remember that hook that we took the old rubber band off of? You'll simply take hold of the band that you just put in and take out what you used to, pull it up over. And you got to be kind of careful at this stage because you don't want that to, don't want to lose your grip on this and have it fly back into the head. You'll pull it up inside the jaw carefully. It's a bit tricky to try and show this on camera, but then you'll maneuver it to where it slides back in place like the original rubber band was underneath the hook. You might have to wiggle it a bit with your fingernails, but you just wiggle and tug and pull until, there we go, until it's attached to the jaw. And as you can see in this case, the string got stuck under the jaw, so you'll just pull that out, pull the string back in like so, and ta-da! Now Danny is ready to sing again. La 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 la. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you repair a headstick Danny O'Day from 1967 from the Juro Novelty Company. And now Danny and I have a little surprise for y'all, don't we, Danny? We sure do! Danny, why do you sound like Mickey Mouse? I don't know. Blame Jimmy Nelson. Alright, here we go. Say, Danny. Yeah, Chris? What's the one drink that helps give you energy in the morning? That nice, lovely, chocolatey drink that always gives you that pep that you need to get through the day. Why, that's Nestle's Nesquik. You don't say. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Well, do you remember how the jingle goes? Well, of course. You never forget something like that. How about you, Farfel? Oh, yes, I remember. Well, what do you say we sing that little tune for our audience over here? Feel up to it? I don't know. Oh, come on, Danny. You could use a little exercise. It's been, what, 50 years? Oh, shut up, you dog. All right. You ready? I'm ready. You ready at home? Well then, ready or not, here we go. N-E-S-T-L-E-S, Nestle snakes to their dust. Chocolate. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the repair of Danny O'Day from 1967. And in place of Farfel, because I unfortunately no longer own one, we have Wrinkles the dog standing in. Take a bow, Wrinkles. Oh, if you say so. And how about you, Danny? You want to take a bow? Yeah, sure. I'd like to bow out of this act. I'm sure you would. Okay. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Cowabunga! And we'll see you in the next episode. Later. You're stealing his lines, you ghostly nut. What are you calling a nut? Ta-ta.